For those who don't know me, I'm Edward McNair, and I'm the Executive Director of NANOG. And I'm going to be addressing and talking about some of the things we're doing in the organization, which is kind of outside of the realm of the program. Steve and Kat will be coming behind me, and they're going to be talking about some of the areas specific to the program itself. Now, one thing that we do hopefully want from this is to make it a little more kind of interactive. We're trying to communicate to you what we're doing as an organization, what our strategy, where we're going in the future. And so this is kind of a part of that. So this is part of our commitment to transparency, openness, and helping to promote and expand the community. So I want to first start out talking about our outreach events. Outreach has been kind of a big part of what I've wanted to do as an executive director. I kind of in some ways see myself as partially an evangelist for the organization, and I'm trying to make it grow and get more people engaged within our community for the benefit not just for us, but also for the industry as a whole. So I've had the pleasure of doing a couple of, these are events that have happened since I last saw you at the last meeting. So first up is I had the pleasure of attending the Indigenous Community Summit in Hilo, Hawaii. It was put on by ISOC, and it was a great opportunity to be a part of that and to see what's going on. Now, before we wondered, okay, I was in Hilo, Hawaii, I never even set foot on the beach. I flew in one day, there for the conference for 2 days, flew right out, but I had an incredible experience. It was held at a university there in Hilo, and it is the largest, or actually say the only indigenous language school in the continental United States, or not, sorry, in United States. And there they focused on about building community and the relationships and advocacy for people in indigenous communities. The connectivity that we take advantage of in our daily lives is sorely missing. And it was a wonderful opportunity to hear people from all over North America talking about the challenges, the successes, the tribulations they went through in getting internet access within their communities. It also gave me an opportunity to share about NANOG's mission of education and community, to promote NANOG's vast library of online content, to encourage enrollment in our mailing list where so much information can be had, in addition to discuss the education and community value of our NANOG conferences. NANOG University. This is something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is getting university engagement into what we do as an organization. If you look throughout our industry, you'll find that there's a huge deficit. Organizations are trying to find more people to employ, and we're in stiff competition with other areas in technology. So part of what I myself do and volunteers in the organization, we're there trying to evangelize our industry, the opportunities, and talk about what we do. So I had the wonderful privilege of joining several of our community, Kat, not this Kat from Microsoft, and also Eddie and others, Crossy, in delivering our first NANOG University tour. We went to 3 schools, 3 days, and we saw about 180 plus students. University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, Purdue, Ball State. Here's an example of the agenda that we had done during the conference. It was a raving success. The students loved it. They were engaged. As I was sharing with the PC earlier this morning, for most of you in this room, you guys have been in the industry for a while and you're a little bit jaded. You're looking for in a talk, what are the little pearls I can find that really kind of matter to me? For these students, they're new to the subjects. A lot of them weren't even in fields of technology, but to see how engaged they were into the process, how hungry they were to know more, and how we saw people shifting and saying, well, I could see myself within a career in this industry. So it was a wonderful privilege to be able to get in front of young minds and to encourage them and to see what are the opportunities they have within our industry. Montgomery Outreach. So there's a gentleman by the name of Marcus who's a part of our community who's from Montgomery. For our first time as executive director, he came up to me and said, hey, in Montgomery, we'd really love to have you come and talk to us. Okay, yeah, I'll see what we can do. Pass it on the program committee. He kept going. It kept going and kept going. So I said, finally, I will go. I'll come and see. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I had a blast. They were very welcoming. They had me on a schedule. I would start at 7:30 in the morning, and they had me going till 9 o'clock at night. I was at Air Force bases. I was talking to Alabama State University students. It was just an amazing experience. So here's just kind of just the things that I was able to expose. Talk about NANOG, our message. Talk about career opportunities to young people. It was an amazing experience, and I really hope that for any of you out there who want NANOG to come to your community, please reach out to me or others on the PC. We want to be able to empower and educate your communities about what NANOG does, who NANOG is, and how we can benefit their communities. Now, there's one particular instant that I have. I was at the Valiant Academy, and the Valiant Academy is a nonprofit private academy that is tuition free to students. They reach out to students who come from, difficult situations and try to turn their lives around. And sometimes when you're presenting to a group of people, you have these moments where someone comes out and does something special for you. That young man with the circle in red, he asked me a question. And I used to teach for quite a while, and occasionally a student will present something to you that kind of turns your head upside down. And I was talking about my career, my background, what I'd done to get where I is. And he asked me this question. He said, so how do you do it? When you do something that's really, really hard, what do you do to get past it? And I paused for a moment and I said, sometimes failure is not an option. Sometimes it's hours, time, commitment. Sometimes you don't sleep. And I think we all have faced that in our lives to get where we are now. That we face these challenges and we just didn't relinquish. We didn't give up. And it was a great opportunity to be able to share about my life and my experience. And hopefully that you, some of the volunteers here, get a chance to do the same. So we're looking to people to become a part of this community, to help out with our outreach, to broaden the message of NANOG. And having the opportunity to do that is really special when you can give back. Future outreach events. So we're going to St. Louis. We're going to be there March 27th. Here's where we're going to be. This is an outreach meeting. We'll call this a professional outreach. So if you know people in the area that you can kind of drive to come to this event, we'd appreciate that. If you are willing to volunteer and help commit and present at this outreach event, we'd love to hear from you. If you ever want to talk to me, go to our contact page. There's a little drop down on there. You can say executive directors. You can always send me an email. I answer them all. I read them all. So please, anything you want to share, I'm there to listen. Building community. So talk about a few things that are community-based. First thing that I want to talk about is membership. So I've been pitching you guys, let's come on, become a part, become members. Also, we add some changes to our form, and I'm happy to say that our membership has jumped up now to 800 people we have as members. And I'm hoping to see that number grow. More than just making that number grow, I want to see more members, but I want to see more engagement and I want to see more involvement. So NANOG wants you. So what we're looking for is for you to become members. We want you to be able to vote because it helps direct and guide where we're going as an organization. Mentor the next generation of network professionals. Teach. The best way to reinforce anything that you know is to teach someone else. Present. Share your knowledge and experience with others. Evaluate. Serve on the program committee. And sponsor. NANOG is an organization, we depend upon sponsorship to do all the things that you do. The dollars that come from your joining and becoming a member, the sponsorship, all go into helping us do those programs outside of the meeting and in the meeting that allowed us to reach out and expand our community and help to shape the world around us. We're going to be releasing an annual report, part of our commitment to transparency and openness within our organization. The staff and I have worked toward building out an annual report. Right now it's in draft mode. You can expect to see it probably in the next several weeks. It'll be out on our website. We'll promote it on our mailing list, social media, etc. This is just an opportunity to share with what we're doing as an organization, the financial health of the organization, what we've accomplished across the year in 2019. And we'll be continuing to do these each year. Meeting budget survey. Costs associated with these events are rising. We're seeking options to kind of manage those things, still be able to deliver you a great experience. And sometimes we're challenged with what things should we keep, what things should we add, what things should we remove. And so we'll be releasing a survey soon. Please support our community and our org by filling out the survey and giving us your feedback. We value it. It's very important. We are a community organization, and we function best when all members of our community are engaged and involved in what we're doing. Subscribe to our newsletter. We have staff, Brandy and Lee in particular, who are working very hard to make sure that we have NANOG originated content that is on our website and promoted on YouTube and et cetera. When we did our university tour, we interviewed students, and there's some great videos on there. Articles that are written by people in the community about the direction we're going and what's happening. So please subscribe to our newsletter. If you go into the bottom of our website on any page, you can find a link to that so you can subscribe to see what we're doing in our organization. There's some really great content that goes in there. So in late December, the board and I went through a series of exercises and planning to kind of shape the way NANOG is going into the future. So we're looking at kind of a strategic advancement for the organization. So in that session, we covered the questions of what is NANOG? What should NANOG be? What are NANOG's most urgent needs? Where should NANOG be in 3 years, and also a SWOT analysis. Now, by putting this all together, the board came out with what we call a strategic guidance. Now, again, this is not a strategic plan, it's a strategic guidance. We're going to be using this guidance to actually create and build out a strategic plan that will push our organization forward for the next 3 years. So here are the areas where the board saw significance important that we as an organization should focus on. Education, enhancing community online collaboration, strategic outreach, mentorship, improved community building, and facilitating business engagement. So as I dig into each one of those things, education. So the direct guidance that I received from the board is to form an education committee to investigate investigate the following areas for board consideration. Structured online, I'm human. Structured online education, training and education outside of our conferences. That would be, for example, NANOG University. Vendor-neutral certification, non-technical professional development programs, content development in collaboration with the program. Now, this does not mean that we are going to actually be able to accomplish all these goals. These are kind of some high-level ideas for these committees to address. There are proposals that are going to be built and put together by these committees that will be submitted to the board for consideration. Enhancing community online collaboration. Here the guidance is staff will research and present proposals for the board for consideration. A knowledge base for networking professionals. Modern online forums. Again, this is not to replace our existing forums and communities, but this is to enhance those to kind of attract a younger generation. Improve online presence to reach new participants. Better integration with existing social media platforms. Better tools to support meeting attendees. Improve mobile accessibility of current tools. Strategic outreach. Again, staff guidance here. Encourage more young people to participate in the industry. Help develop the next generation of networking professionals and leaders. Reduce attendance barriers for junior engineers and students. Advance diversity in networking community. Expand outside traditional operators, and develop programs to support veterans. Mentorship. We're going to form a mentorship committee. And that committee will go about focusing on how can we mentor the next generation of networking professionals. Mentorship programs and training to support the next generation professionals. A membership portal for continued support and engagement. Mentors and mentees will meet face-to-face at each meeting. Mentor sessions will be facilitated and topic-based. Develop mentorship guidelines and code of conduct. And create training programs for mentors to assure consistency and experience across all of our engagement. Improve community building. Again, staff guidance here. Explore the support for parents and children at meetings. Build smaller community based on affinities and specialties. Create monthly webinar to encourage continued participation. Reach out to local NOGs to recruit speakers for upcoming meetings in their vicinity, and systems for tracking community requests. And last is facilitating business engagement. Business engagement has always been a part of these meetings, and it's actually grown in scope. The board recognizes that, and we're looking at ways to make it easier to do business. Some people come here specifically to be in this room and listen to the content. Others are here to make connections and develop business contacts and facilitate business arrangements, and we're committed to making that easier for our attendees. So we're looking at trying to get more private meeting space, online room reservation systems, easy scheduling systems, survey sponsors for input on updating their sponsorship offerings, research what would generate greater participation from current and potential sponsors. So these are just the few of the things that we're looking at. Again, this is all about guidance. We'll be between staff and committees. We'll be building this out and finding ways to better serve our community. So that being said, if you have any comments or feedback to any of this, anything that you want us to look at and address that we haven't, please communicate to us so we can kind of add that to the field of things that we're looking at as we hope to make our community even stronger and better. So here's our timeline. So we're looking at all of the charters to be submitted to the board between now and the next meeting. The next meeting, the requested staff proposals will be submitted to the board. The Mentorship Education Committee and members will be selected. Then we'll look at outreach proposals that are happening in NANOG 80. The board will take at an offsite all these directives of information and come up with, here's what we're going to do, here's a plan, here's what we're going to budget toward that. Once we got the green light, we'll start working on the online things, and then by NANOG 81, we will announce all the programs and hoping to see everything happen in NANOG 82. All right. In memoriam, as Steve had expressed earlier in the meeting, we lost a significant member of our community. And as part of the people who have started NANOG and made it what it is, we're at that point where we're tipping. Yeah. This is going to become more and more a frequent thing that's going to happen within our organization. And we always want to pay homage to those who've gotten us to where we are. So on our website, we're going to be creating a page that's going to be devoted to those people within our community who have passed and who are no longer with us. So if you have anyone who's already passed, anyone who passed in the future, please go onto our website, submit it to myself or to the board, and we will make sure that they are properly honored on our website. Now we're on to the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Edward. So I'm Steve Feldman, representing Kat and I representing the program committee. I'll briefly go over our structure. I know we talked about it in a lot more detail at the last meeting, so there's no point repeating too much. We have a chair, Vince Lindro, who is working on something. He leads all of the program committee meetings and basically drives the entire process. I'm the vice chair, so my job is to stand up here when Vince is busy and help him out. And Kat is our secretary, who is responsible for a lot of things, but primarily making sure that there are things up on the screen to display that come from the presentations that you all submit. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the enhancement. Oh, hi, Tigger. Some of the enhancements that we've been making to streamline the process and make things better for you guys, the speakers and the attendees. The question that I have been asked forever since I started working on NANOG is, why can't the agenda come out sooner? So we're working on exactly that right now. We have a couple of initiatives. The biggest one being what we're calling a continual call for presentations, where you no longer have to wait until this meeting is over before you can submit a talk for the next one. In fact, at this point, if you go into the program committee tool, you can, or submission tool, you can submit as far out as NANOG 80 right now. And we'll keep rolling that out so you can do at least 2 meetings in advance from now on. So that means that we can start the whole review cycle earlier. It means we can accept talks earlier, and we can get the at least partial agendas out earlier, and hopefully make the whole process smoother and improve the quality of our content as a nice byproduct of that. There are some enhancements to the tool that make this a lot easier, like the ability to, as I said, submit for future NANOGs. And also we now have the ability to take a talk that was submitted for this NANOG, and if, for example, and we had a lot of these, they came in past the deadline, we could just switch them to be in early consideration for the next NANOG and get a head start that way. So making the process smoother for everybody, we hope. The other thing that we're doing new this time, and it's almost too late for that, but we have a program committee help desk out in the lobby area. I think it's only staffed until 10 o'clock this morning, but feel free to go out there. There should be somebody out there to answer any questions you might have about the submission process, if you're interested in submitting something and want some advice. If you're interested in serving on the program committee, although it's too late for this year's cycle, maybe start thinking early about being a candidate next year. So that's it. Kat, I think we'll talk a bit more about the submission process and what we're doing to improve that in more detail. And here's the clicker, and I think the next slide has the wheel on it. There we go.
So as Steve mentioned, we're working on this continual call for presentations where you no longer have to wait until a few weeks after to begin. So even if you won't be here in June, but you can come to October and you've got a great idea, you can put that in now and start working with someone. So once we begin receiving proposals, the first thing that we do is we assign a shepherd from the program committee who will guide you through the whole process. So that is someone who's going to be one-on-one with you. They're going to review your slides, give you initial feedback before you ever get put in through voting to the rest of the committee. And yes, even if you're submitting for 2 NANOGs out, we'll still start working with you now to hone those presentations and make them ready to go and have a chance of succeeding in voting and getting into the agenda. So once you've got your presentation in, we've given you a shepherd, the sooner you get us slides, the easier it is for us to help you and get you prepared. And also the earlier we can vote once you are finalized with those slides through your shepherds. So the earlier we vote, the earlier the chances of you getting on said agenda. So it's always good for us to have your slides early, basically. And that's why we wanted to open up the call for presentations continually instead of having to wait, because we can really help you guys prepare. That's also why we do the program committee help desk now, because we want to be there for all the questions you guys have and be more forefront in that vision. That said, as secretary, I must remind you that slides do have deadlines. If your slides come in too late, unfortunately, then I can't help you anymore, because we can't vote on something if the slides aren't finalized, they're not there. So it really does matter that you get those slides in before the deadlines. We need to see them early, we need to help you through them, and then we need to vote in time. Once we've got all the slides finalized, everything's been voted on, that's when we try to get the agenda published. So the sooner we get everybody's the sooner we get everybody's slides and submissions in, the sooner we can publish an agenda for the rest of the community, so you can start going to your bosses and saying, hey, there's these great talks coming up, can I please go to the next NANOG? And then the circle's a little outdated now because conference begins and we no longer have that call for proposals restarting. It's just always open now. But yeah, so I hope that explains the general process to you. Just get slides in early, we'll work with you, we'll help you get through the process. Oh yes, so we do value your feedback, and this PC tool has been really great in helping us do just that by having multiple NANOGs submitted. But we do recognize the PC tool is new. It is not the same one we've used for many years, so feedback is very welcomed for us and for the developers who've been working on the tool for us. They're a great team. So please let us know if you go to upload something that doesn't quite work as you expected, you're not sure where to find something on the tool. Please send that feedback in, because we want it to work for you guys as well as for us. And the more feedback we get on that, the better we can make the tool for everybody. Yeah. So.
I have one other thing I wanted to mention, I meant to do earlier. Could the other program committee members in the room please stand up? If there are any. I guess they're all getting coffee. But I did want to mention that Kat and I are part of the PC leadership, which means that we help herd the process, but the real work is done by the committee members. They spend a lot of time reviewing, shepherding, and making sure that we have stuff to listen to during the rest of the conference. So please thank them when you see them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and one last thing. We'd like to take a moment, if anyone have any question about either the organization or the program, that we'd be happy to answer. So the mics are open, and if any of you have any questions or anything you'd like to ask, please do. Yes.
Bill? Just a quick thought. Do you have any questions for us, the broader membership, any questions that you think you'd like to get, like a straw survey of hands up? What are the questions that you'd like to ask this group?
Ooh. Ooh. I'm going to do that next time. I've got a bunch of them rattling through my head, but yes, I will use that as a forum to get a show of hands, because that's a good thing to do. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I actually have one that I'd like to see. We can't spend the time here because we only have 4 minutes left. But one of the things I'd like to see reflected on the survey is, how do you feel the level of the material, or the mix of levels of material, beginner, intermediate, advanced? Is there enough to keep everybody engaged and keep bringing in new people while still keeping us graybeards interested? So deciding on the right mix of presentations to accept is key to us.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Tauber, Comcast. I was on the PC in earlier years, and I think you touched on it, but hopefully this is still correct. But to reiterate to people, like the slides, like the program committee can't really evaluate something without slides.
Correct.
Like people, I know people would come to us and they'd say, "Oh, I put in an abstract and I'm waiting to hear if you're going to accept it, and then I'll do the slides," and that can't work.
Yeah.
I mean, according to the process that I remembered, because you need to know like the level and the detail and all. That's they don't have to be totally finalized, but they have to be something with some serious meat so that the program committee can assess them. Otherwise, they just can't. So if you're in that way of thinking, you have to actually get to the slides, right?
Yeah, and I would say it's almost the flip. Give us the slides, and the abstract could come later.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because the abstract ultimately ends up being more for what we're going to publish on the agenda page.
Right.
But like you said, the slides are paramount. We need to look at those and really understand what you're trying to present, so we can help you through those. Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a question. How do you guys feel about, especially those who this is your first time attending a NANOG meeting, did you feel welcome? Did you feel like it was a good, comfortable place to be? Yes. Did you feel welcome? Good. Yeah, show of hands. So those who are new, who come here the first time, hands up. How many of your experience was good? Okay. Nice. Are you going to come back? Okay. Raise your hand if you're going to come back. That's a better question. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. And if anything you guys need, if you have a bad experience, anything happens here you don't like, or even positive or negative, I'm always available. I check my emails all the time, so if something happens, let me know. Thanks.
I would like to mention something else about the discussion around slides. Slides are not required to submit your ideas for lightning talks. It is really just meant to be a crazy idea you had, so submit those. You can get the slides in by the morning of the day you're going to present the lightning talk if you're accepted. But don't think you have to have a bunch of slides prepared just because you want to do a lightning talk. You need to be prepared to create slides for me, but they're not required for that submission process at least. So.
All right. Well, thank you all for attending NANOG and for giving us a little bit of your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.